So, second game, it's going to be on Dragonshire, Mr. Kevin.
Yes. Yeah, and I like that. Dragonshire is actually my favorite map. I think it's a good, solid map that allows you to work on a lot of different types of strategies. It values mobility and communication a lot. So, and since there's enough neutral objectives to grab, be it the Siege Giants down in bot or the Shrines or the Dragon Knight, I feel it makes for a very dynamic map as well. So I like it. We already have a couple of bans, though, and it looks like we had a Tychus ban from Dunk Train on the Cloud9 side.
I have no idea why, but my Rhaegar absolutely refuses to load, so let's just hope they don't go Rhaegar.
Well, apparently, from what I see here, we obviously have a Murky Gazlo Lily comp. I know you guys can't see that out there, but they're queuing up with trolls right now. And how much would I pay to actually watch Cloud9 versus Glorious as Murky Gazlo Lily? That would be awesome.
I know, I'd sub to my stream to cast it. Yeah.
And so Glorious ZP's saying that he wants to ban out Kerrigan right afterwards. Interesting.
That is interesting. The Kerrigan ban didn't really feel like Kerrigan was that useful in the last fights.
Yeah, but they first picked her last time, so and they decided that she was strong enough to go ahead and ban out. Who knows? Maybe Kerrigan's a really good counter to what they're planning on doing. As we see, it was an Arthas pick first of all by Dunk Train on behalf of Cloud9. The Duck Train. Yeah, there you go. Quack, 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 quack. So he picks Arthas. Not much else to say about Arthas. He's been the default #1 strongest pick in Heroes for an incredibly long time now.
He's awesome.
Yeah, he really is. So much fun. And Falstad Tacit are taken by Glorious right on the other side. So Glorious showing us again that they don't mind taking non-traditional first picks. Falstad is fine. He's the best bursty hero in the game. He's great. He's picked everywhere. But Tassadar, despite all his nerfs.
Truer words have not been said, sir. It is definitely the patch of Falstad when it comes to this. But, I mean, Tychus has just been banned repeatedly. Repeatedly. So if it's not going to be a Tychus, it's going to be a Falstad. But as you said as well, I mean, we have not seen a game without one of these. And this is, of course, a Vala coming on the way of Glorious. So once again, the Uther, the Arthas combo. You got your front line, you got your control, and you got your heals. It sets up very nicely for your back line. And right now we got that Vala coming out. We've seen repeatedly, though, no Abathurs. There's no Abathur ban, you might notice, this time. Anubaraks have been few and far between. We've absolutely not seen a Nova.
Nope, no Nova. And I want to say, after the first couple of games, you know, we had some Tyrael action at the beginning, but even he's been a little bit less popular. He was a default ban or pick, like across the board prior to this. And obviously has still shown that he's really strong, despite the fact that he took such a big hit to his damage on Judgment. But despite that, has just not been as big of a threat and not a priority to pick or ban for teams.
It used to be the big 4 tanks, right? If it's not an Arthas or a Tyrael, it's going to be an Anubarak or Chen. Anubarak definitely has fallen out of favor. Chen, strangely enough, has also seemed to have fallen out of favor. Statistically, we've seen less Chens than we have Arthases or Tychuses. Sorry, Tyraels. Or
Stitches.
Or
Stitches has been every game. Every game I've watched, we've had a Stitches picker ban as well. So
Indeed.
Stitches has kind of gone up the ranks, and it's basically, from what I've seen today, this is not obviously enough to kind of say about the entire meta, but I have seen Arthas as the default #1, Stitches as the default #2, and then it usually falls to those kind of second tier ones afterwards, whether it's going to be a Tyrael or a Chen or something like that.
Indeed. Yeah, it is definitely a time to be alive here in the alpha as we're seeing the ever-shifting meta. And again, I cannot wait to beta until we get Thrall to see what's going to be up there with the Sky Temple, the Thrall, and all of those changes as well. But still, this map, it is the Dragonshire. So what do you want for Dragonshire? You want Shrine control, and you want to make sure that you can party in that bottom lane because the triple creep camps are actually a little different as well. Can you tell us a little bit about what we're going to see here with the Dragonshire?
Yeah, that's absolutely right. So we have on Dragonshire a shrine to the north and a shrine to the south. Once you capture those, your team can actually move into the middle and grab a statue that actually activates a big old powerful Dragonite, which you can use to push. Now, when the Dragonite is not active, there are a variety of camps that you can pick around. There are 2 now termed bruiser camps that sit in the middle of the map. Yes, 3 bruisers. Yes, I'm sorry. Sit in the in the middle of the map, and you also have a variety of siege giants to go after too. So mobile objective-based control is what you're really looking for on this map. There are enough wide spaces, though, that a good team fight comp is also pretty effective. So Falstad, he's great in team fights. He's very mobile. Oh my God. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about these last few picks in context of Dragonshire. So on Glorious's side, ZP's takes Chen and Zeratul. We have seen Glorious take Chen since the day he came out. He has kind of been their hero. They play him all the time. That's fine. Zeratul has seen a bit more play recently, too, with a bunch of Tassadar starting to kind of go away. But since Glorious already has Tassadar, they're fine locking him in. But on the other side, I'm so happy. It's Brightwing. Yeah, that's fine. But Illidan, yes. Okay, so
Trixler, are you in the building? Trixler? Paging Trixler?
Do we have a Trixler anywhere? So we have actually seen Illidan played a lot in EU, as you were mentioning before. He's also been played today a couple of times in the Kings of the Storm tournament. But the biggest change to Illidan, his sweeping strike basic attack damage went from 25% to 35%. And if you have never played Illidan before, Illidan has really strong lifesteal to begin with. So when you've upped that basic attack damage and you're constantly using W because of the way Illidan works, you're essentially doing 10% more lifesteal. And that is measurable in a fight because he has a ridiculous ability to sustain himself up. And then whenever you think you're going to die, pop Metamorphosis. It's not quite a second life like Odin or Panda Pals or something like that, but it's pretty close.
Oh, they picked Rhaegar again. All right, the blank spot is a Rhaegar. He says his line, it applies all the right things, but I don't know why the image isn't there. I have to go back and look at that. But it is going to be a Rhaegar to finish off the comp here from ZP and crew. But yes, we are seeing the Glorong Zeratul, definitely a thing of legend. But to go against that Cloud9 with the Illidan, we saw it at BlizzCon. We've been seeing it a lot in EU. I am definitely excited to see it here in our match here for the NA. And that means that we are ready to go here with the Dragonshire. Would you like to give us, give the teams that we are ready to go, Mr. Kevin? That would be most appreciated. But
absolutely,
as you said, you know, there's some wide open spaces and then there's some really smaller areas. And that's where we saw big body blocking combos come into big effect there. That's why we saw the big 4 tanks, the Arthas, the Anubarak, the Chen, the Tyrael. Now we are seeing single tank comps or tank and a half comps with big DPS in the back of it. Rhaegar and Tassadar to support the Chen, Zeratul, Falstad. That seems rather overprotective of the Falstad. But at the same time, if Cloud9 can snipe it out, you know, what do you got left in the bank? Tassadar is not nearly the assassin he used to be. Chen can still ramp up, but you got to be level 16 for the combination strikes. Fight Dog, maybe. But it's feeling a little like with this new meta, we're going to see more and more double or triple assassin comps.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we've kind of mentioned it as the games have gone on throughout the day, but this has very much been a let's load up as much damage as we can and use positioning, whereas in the past it used to be let's use stuns and CCs and big tanky guys that just sit in fights. And so we've noticed that people are being a lot more active around the map. They're being a lot more, let's set up traps and let's try and pick people off to gain ourselves advantages, and a little bit less, let's just grab 2 giant CC warriors and move, you know, and just like immediately go in. So I kind of like it though.
Illidones, the Illadins, you are not prepared for the spinniness of Glaurung and Syracuse.
That's the
StarCraft combo right there. StarCraft, Tassadar, Zeratul.
Are you looking at him on the left right now, though? It just looks so awesome. Everyone inside of everyone in the pink Wonder Billies, it's awesome. So that's right, Cloud9, of course.
Line up. The Care Bear stare counts up.
And look at the trails of hearts as they travel across the map. It's so cute. It's so beautiful. Thank you, Cloud9. I appreciate it.
It's like the symbiote and their money pig shenanigans. All right, things to look forward to. Glaurung on the Zeratul, and where did our Illidan go? Zuna on the Illidan. Those are 2 big names on 2 big, very iconic heroes. Very excited to see that happen. Now, again, this is a little bit strange because in this map, it used to be triple giants. Now it's double giants in the bottom lane with a bruiser camp down in the middle. I don't know if that's going to change really the orientation of the party in the bottom lane, but right now it is totally a party in the top for Cloud9.
Yes, it is. But all right, I'm going to say it. I'm going to be a little biased here. I can't wait to see Illidan on with Zuna. I honestly can't. Like, I'm gonna be glued to watching how Zuna plays Illidan this entire game. I believe that Illidan is a much better pick now. His sustain is a lot better. He has crazy amount of damage as well. So I'll be curious to see what he can do. And Zuna just such a solid MOBA player to begin with. Otherwise, we have Arthas versus Tassadar in mid. That's pretty normal stuff. And we have Brightwing and Vala down bot.
Yeah, Brightwing Vala so far has been able to fend off the advances. We also have now Syracuse down here. A little bit of tower damage going the way of Cloud9, but again, it's all about the shrines in this map. Right now, Zuna, he has the top. ZP is going to go and try to contest that bottom lane. However, it is going to go the way of Glorious, as Kenwa is going to get caught out a little bit here. A good polymorph will save his bacon for now, but top lane, again, Zuna and ZP. Zuna is actually keeping ZPs off of that point.
Yeah, and actually, I obviously we don't see Illidan a whole lot, so I'm not sure how this individual lane matchup is going to go. Usually, Chen has a pretty good place to just kind of step in and out, sustain people in lane, and Zuna's going to have to watch out because Glowering comes in as well. Pretty good amount of damage done, but of course, Zuna has that auto attack protection as his E ability.
Yeah, King Caffeine goes in. He's now going to have to deal with this 2-on-1. Illidan did tap the Fountain. ZP's, however, of course, very healthy. Shrine control is actually going to flip. Bottom lane was taken out by Cloud9 as ZP's and crew were able to take the top. And we're back to playing a little bit of the do-si-do. Nirak going to come down here into Kenma Biceps to support. But at the same time, it's going to be a 3-on-1. That's a really good spot for that health ward because, again, health wards are very vulnerable this patch. One attack from abilities will also now take them down, including AoE.
Yep, that is correct. So always fun as an Arthas to just walk in and, oh, I am so sorry, up top. Chen actually gets taken out there by the Uther and Arthas gank train there.
And
very
Illidan.
nice job by Zuna to finish up the damage with Illidan, yeah.
The Illidan body block was actually very key. That's the whole reason DPS went down. So, you know, for somebody who had his eyes glued on Illidan, man, you let me down.
I was watching something else very important. No, you're correct. I did let you down. But King Caffeine trying to take his first Dragon Knight, and with the stun on Syracuse there, looks like they're going to be able to get it. Good. I don't know if you noticed, but Dunk Train there with that timing was awesome. He waited about a half second longer than you normally would to try and lock down a Zeratul, but he did his stun at such a time that he knew King Caffeine would have enough time to actually take the Dragon Knight. So really heads up play there by Dunk Train.
Yeah, Dunk Train playing the Uther as a note. Not exactly somebody I see Dunk Train play a lot, but
right.
You know, it's a brand new patch, it's a brand new day, and this Dragon Knight is starting to actually take advantage of the new experience-giving towers. And he's wrecked out the mid, he's now top, there's no ammo here. King Caffeine's just ripping right into it there with Zuna, who, by the way, is a boss and taking on this Chen repeatedly. And that's going to be actually almost an entire level advantage just from this one Dragon Knight. I think King Caffeine might be overstaying his welcome. He's body blocked. He can't move. ZP's is in his way. He has to punt him to victory. But I think that punt might just be enough to keep him alive.
Oh, great job there. And King Caffeine knew right where ZP's was going to be coming from. So he throws down the Howling Blast, of course, and he makes sure that he's going to be safe. Syracuse and King Caffeine walking against each other. That's not a good place for Syracuse to be. He takes a big amount of damage. He still has his E to get away if he needs it. Nirak now taking the damage. There comes the Envenom right on top of him, and he ends up falling. Dunk Train may go down in the process. Yes, he goes into his ghost form, and he'll have to make his way out of there. Larung is in hot pursuit of King Caffeine, and this may end up turning into a 2-for-1.
Oh, the fly-in from Cothenluck was a great idea, but Kenma actually shuts him down with that polymorph. Either way, they get the kill in the back on the Tassadar. ZPs cannot jump to King Caffeine whatsoever. Zuna will eventually drop, and now Biceps on the wrong side of that line of scrimmage is actually going to be able to walk away out of that one. Kenma looking forward. He's looking for the kill on top of Cothenluck. It's going to be the death coil from the Arthas, but they traded out for the Valas. Glorian sneaky into the back with that stealth. So many deaths, so many people dead on the floor, and level 9 apiece. Experience, that gigantic experience, that one level experience we had because of that Dragon Knight, virtually up in smoke.
Yeah, virtually up in smoke. You're right. As Siege Giants are starting to push down bot now, and this lane is getting knocked in a bit. Okay, so before he ended up dying, Zuna had a pretty crazy escape. I don't know if you saw it. So he basically moved in from bot lane. He was standing around the shrine. He decided to move up just a little bit to try and work towards their siege giants, jump back over the bushes, knocked out Tassadar, jumped back down into the shrine, jumped back out over Chen, and was 90% of the way back before he died. Like, I was rooting big time for him there, I have to say. But kudos to Glorious for knocking him out and winning that fight. They are now in a great position, and they have enough control of the map, especially, now that they're grabbing more camps and stuff too. They should be able to make a play on shrines, but it looks like they're actually going to overload 4 people up top here.
Yeah, I mean, you need to secure a shrine, especially as things get later and later. And if you get sucked into like a team fight not near a shrine and you lose out that fight, you're going to lose out the Dragon Knight, which means you should probably try to just secure it. Strength in numbers and all that. Cawthon Luck is going to be holding down the fort bottom, but ooh, it's a 4-man stack down there as well. We're probably going to be looking for the trade because both sides have mercs pushing into their lanes and both sides have secured their shrines behind them.
And looks like Falstad is sitting around down there. I don't know if Illidan actually is able to pick up on him. Zeratul are going to start making his way down bot as well, confident that they are going to be able to make this trade. And let's see if he can do it. Zuna coming down now, and it looks like he's going to go straight after Falstad, but Falstad manages to sneak the kill and flies.
Oh my god, well played. Glaurung just sitting there with the stealth. Of course, he doesn't show up on the mini-maps. They couldn't see him. And that ninja, I mean, sure, they lost out the fort, but they're hopefully trading it out for that top. We still got a little bit of those knights as remnants there from Glorious. And Glaurung, not entirely too sure he knows what he wants to do with this.
No, I mean, it's in a weird position right now because he doesn't have his whole team there. His team's split pushing and just trying to get some experience at the moment. But wow, Glorious has turned this around. At the very beginning of this, Cloud9 was once again kind of controlling the pace of the map, but Glorious is looking good. So they're going to start moving in against this gate here. It's going to give them about 800 experience just to knock down these 2 turrets. The Dragon Knight only has about 20 seconds left, so it has been up for a decently long period of time, and a nice place for this healing ward to be as well, keeping the team sustained throughout that entire fight. All the while, Tassadar's pushing up top, and once again, we have an even XP distribution.
Syracuse. So that's going to be the rewind there from Kenma. They're looking for that kill. As I said already, the rewind has been thrown out with the double polymorph. Zuna is still in hot pursuit of the Templar, but they're not going to be able to grab it. Well, of course, it is very hard to gank Tassadar, but King Gaffine, a little bit easier. He goes down with Arthas to the combined pressure of the 4-man group from Glorious, and they should be able to pick up that last tower, but I guess Dunk Chain Biceps is too much pressure. Zuna possibly going to be jumping in there with that Metamorphosis. He does jump on top of ZPs. The strafe in the back is doing work, but that's going to be an interruption there with the Void Prison. Zuna now has to go 1-on-4, but he's going to try to take Cawthon Luck down with them. Shields, heals, lots of things keeping Zuna alive. He's still going. The Ancestral healing has been down already. Syracuse with that Archon coming out, but he's going to be low hit points. The double Void Shift from Talents. And finally, Zuna's going to go down. There goes the Brightwing, and all of Glorious actually stayed alive throughout that entire onslaught.
Now, of course, there was no Arthas in the mix for Cloud9, but I've got to hand it to them. They were able to out-sustain that fight longer than I thought. I'm a little surprised, though. They continue to engage without Arthas once things were about even. I know they smelled a little bit of blood and thought they could overwhelm Tassadar, finish him off, and possibly start working on the rest, but it felt like they just overstayed their welcome a bit too long to me. Otherwise, though, a good initiation, or pretty good initiation, I should say, from Cloud9 to keep people pinned in. Zuna caught out of the Void Prism, turned into Metamorphosis, and you saw the amount of sustain he had, even 1-on-4. So things set up like they were going to have success, but unfortunately they couldn't follow through without Arthas.
Yeah, being a man down eventually did bite them, but I mean, you saw how tanky Zuna can be, how tanky an Illidan can be. You know, we talked a little bit about Kerrigan and the shields. We've talked about Thrall and his Frostwolf resilience, as that's going to get added to the game later on. Illidan, when he gets into the mix of things with the proper heals and support in the back of him, he can really last a long time.
Yes, he can, and that's actually going to magnify itself as we go throughout this game as well. He will become a touch more hardy, too, so... all right, Zuna is, thinking about going for it. He exposes himself. ZPs is thinking about coming back in. King Caffeine does pop his Tempest so we can get a little bit of AoE out there. Catches Syracuse. No harm, no foul. There goes Zuna now, jumping on top of Glaurung off to the side. Blocking a few basic attacks for the time being. And everyone's just kind of moving back and forth. No one wants to hard commit yet.
Well, everybody's also in the bottom lane. We got both shrines here for Cloud9, but nobody to go grab the Dragon Knight. And you see Glaurung as well. He's just like, yeah, I'm going to sit here and make sure nobody leaves. And this 5-on-5 in the bottom lane, it's like all random, all bottom at this point. It's all about this shrine as well. There's nowhere for Glorious to go. They can't leave lane to go contest it elsewhere. So they got to put up a strong front here, and it looks like it's going to pay off as they do actually take that home. Good thing for Glaurung and crew. They have level 16 talent. They got this talent tier. It's going to be great for this fight.
And it looks like Strafe is popped. Biceps has basically been able to do that the entire time. Ancestral Healing hits Cawthonluck, but he still gets nuked right afterwards. Syracuse uses his E to try and get away, gets a bit of a chain heal there, but that's not even going to be enough. So Vala has died for Falstad and Rhaegar at this time, but it's still been a 2-for-1 in favor of Cloud9. Zuna continuing to do damage, jumps on top of Syracuse. Will he be able to finish it off? Yes, he can, but he dies for it in the process. A very good Void Prism actually hits 3 members of Cloud9 on the way out, and that is going to allow for the rest, or I should say, just Zeratul and Chen on Glorious's side to get away.
King Caffeine, I don't think he's going to have any kind of competition, and he doesn't. It was Brightwing with the polymorph, but it secured the Dragon Knight here for King Caffeine, and he's going to start tearing right into these mid towers. Actually, a little surprised the mid tower is still alive this whole time. That gate was basically just needed to sneeze on it. But we do got team members down from both sides. It was a 3-2 split. It did go the way of C9 in the end of it all, but they're still down in terms of experience. King Caffeine has this Dragon Knight, but he's so afraid to push up because he doesn't want to waste it. It means that he's very defensive with it. Not really what you want to be doing with a Dragon Knight.
No, and looks like Glorious is setting up to try and collapse on this very aggressively in a second. Oh, and there goes Glaurung on top of Biceps. Biceps takes a huge amount of damage, but he will be able to survive just barely. In the rest of the fight, Ancestral Healing hits Glaurung, so he is still up and alive. Zuna comes around the side and tries to dive on top of Cawthonluck, but can't get enough damage done. Cawthonluck does barrel roll over the wall, and that is going to be a 1-for-0 for Glorious, and they didn't even have the Dragon Knight in that fight.
I mean, Glaurung tried to snipe out Biceps for that fight, but it did actually fail in the end of it. But Zuna maybe got a little bit too overconfident with the skills because he dived right into the whole crew of Glorious. Dragon Knight down, and all they got for it was a few towers, and I say a few, but it's really only one. That's going to be Cawthonluck with that Shakana. Did do some decent damage this round. Didn't maybe so much last time. Panda Pals actually popped out there from ZPs, but it's not going to be a kill from either side. A few ults down, and the Dragon Knight's going to reset. It's now kind of up to Mercs before we kind of reconsolidate for a team fight.
Okay, so we'll see if Cloud9 can get back on their feet. Glorious has been basically running this game for the past couple of minutes. Despite the fact that they lost the Dragon Knight, they were able to kill Brightwing for it right at the beginning. You remember Brightwing sacrificed himself for the greater good, I should say, of Cloud9. But they weren't able to get anything done with the Dragon Knight. Great defense from Glorious. They're now in control of map objectives. They're still pushing down bot with Cawthonluck right now. He should be able to pretty easily clear these Siege Giants up if he wants.
Is there anything left to push? Yeah, there's almost an entirely healthy fort right there. And at the same time, it does look like both teams had the same ideas to get their bruiser camps up into that top. Bottom lane neutral bruiser camp, still about 5 seconds out, but still not really a lot of Merc pressure coming out from either side. It's being cleaned up by both sides relatively quickly, and this actually could be a very devastating fight because this is a very small area with these bruisers. And I think Glorious wants to do it, but they're taking their time getting down here.
Yes, they are, and they know they're there. Glaurung goes right on top, and he gets off a little bit of damage onto Kenma, but has to blink back over the side. He's like, oh, hey, all 5 here. No, thank you, and gets out.
That's the fun thing about Wormhole. You can blink in, get your damage off, and unless you get a hard stun on top of that slippery Zeratul, he's just going to be able to Wormhole back to safety. It also served as a scout because they wanted to check out the state of the Mercs, but of course the Mercs did capture more or less at the same time. And it is still an experience lead here for Glorious. It still feels like the game is in their court, despite being, you know, kind of antsy right now, a little bit more undecisive. They don't look maybe as strong, but they still have the very solid level advantage, and they could make a good case here for a Dragon Knight. They don't have anyone to snipe it behind him, and now they're losing out some towers.
Not only are they losing out on towers at the moment, but I mean, they're in danger of actually having a lot more objectives pushed in here soon if they can't gather themselves and try and take them out. And it looks like they're going to make a move here off to the side. King Caffeine Oh, moving up towards that Dragon Knight. Biceps is going to take it. They're not going to get there in time. And here comes another Dragon Knight push with Zuna.
That's a big misplay right there from Glorious. And you can see the wormhole play coming in. Glowring, unfortunately, does not find a target again for those double bombs. Double bomb at this point of the game is somewhere between 800 and 900 damage, which is a good chunk of a squishy like Biceps, who wants to stay healthy in the back and get off a lot of these strafes. But again, another Dragon Knight going the way of Zuna. And let's see if they can actually make a little bit more of it, because they have a big opportunity here to take lead in experience for that race to 20.
And Glowring jumps in, does some more damage, blinks back out, but doesn't really get a whole lot done. And that race to 20 may be going more their way. They've about tied things up. They can grab at least another turret here that will completely tie it up, as there's another 650 experience, and we are all even in that race to 20 right now. Let's take a look at how many potential resurgences we could have. Arthas and Uther on the side of Cloud9, and just Chen.
Yeah. Tassadar, no. I don't think Tassadar can take it. Yeah, so we could have 3 resurgences. Will we, though? That's the big question. Resurgence did get nerfed this patch. It's now a 3-minute cooldown, no longer 2. That's a big deal when games can literally be decided on death timers.
You know, I kind of wondered about that change while you have a second of downtime, because I always thought that they were going to do, like, it takes 30 seconds to activate the first time or something like that, you know? So that way you couldn't just pop it in a fight and be like, haha, I'm back up, suckers, when you hit 20. But,
suckers.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
I died. Joke's on you, suckers.
Isn't that the best feeling in the world, when you pop 20 in a fight just before you're going to die, and you take Resurgence and you pop right back up? So satisfying.
It never quite works that way for me. It's usually I die and then I hit 20.
I've had plenty of those too. Don't get me wrong.
That's the flip side of it. Yeah. There's the talents for you guys again, as we are about to hit that 20 mark. Dragon Knights feel, I don't know, they feel a little less overwhelming at this point, and because we've had so many Dragon Knights, but really we still have forts, we still have keeps. It's a 17-minute game so far. Usually we're much more progressed, and I think a part of that again is because we had the map change of the bruisers in the bottom, but we also had the map change of nothing targets a Dragon Knight.
And also don't forget too, like, we had one bad rotation mistake from Glorious just there to allow Cloud9 to get the Dragon Knight. Flip side of that, we had a big mistake from Cloud9 just before that in a team fight, which gave Glorious a 3-for-1. So both these teams have basically made one big mistake. And now that level 20 is here, and I'm just checking, Resurgence, Bolt, Vengeance. So just damage, repositioning, and Resurgence. No real surprise.
As a note, though, Dunk Train taking that means that we don't have a Divine Hurricane.
That is true. No Divine Hurricane, so it's still going to be a very small radius on the Divine Storm, but can still be very effective.
Blast of All, Twilight Archon, the Bolt, Storm Shield on Rhaegar, which, again, I've been playing a lot of Rhaegar recently. Storm Shield is actually really amazing as a level 20 talent. I didn't give it time of day back in the earlier beta, but these days, it's a godsend when it comes to supports. And then we do have the one Resurgence there on ZP, so he does have his triple life set up for a one-time redeem every 3 minutes, but level 20 apiece, again, very kind of underwhelming game.
And while we have a couple of seconds here, look at the Tassadar build, by the way. Silent Fusion, Mental Acuity, Static Charge, and then Prescience and Dimensional Warp. These are not your average Tassadar attributes. This is not the, okay, well, Psystorm is going to kill everything kind of a build. So
can't do that anymore.
Exactly. So I'm kind of excited to see Tassadar play this way. He has a lot of utility now.
Top Shrine going to the way of Kenma. Bottom, Nirak is working on it, but ZP's is in a position to delay if he needs to. I was a little curious to see if he was actually going to jump out on Biceps, but the rest of the crew from Glorious, they're almost hesitant to fight, I want to say. Like, if you can't get an ambush, it almost looks like they're not fighting at this point.
Yeah, you're right. Despite the fact that generally they've been team fighting better this game. Oh no! ZP's gets caught out and body blocked, and he goes down.
Oh my!
He did have Resurgence, of course,
but he didn't use the pandas. He died before pandas. What are you doing, ZP? Oh, well, you know, talk about a game of missteps.
Is there a case to be made, possibly, that he allowed himself to die so that he could use his Panda Pals on his Resurgence? I mean, like, I agree with you. I think he should have popped it there, but maybe?
Well, he didn't have a team with him, so I'm going to go with yes. Like, This actually comes up with Tychus a lot. If you get caught up by Tychus and you pop Odin at the end of it, I mean, you're gonna die. Why would you waste the cooldown like that? Right. Similar logic might have actually come into play here, because now ZP can defend, can use the pandas, but my bigger question is, what was he doing in the mid without his team?
Yeah, no kidding there. I mean, we've seen Chen actually caught out, not just ZPs, but Chen's earlier today get caught out a lot. It seems like they've been very aggressive with their jumping around, and it's actually come back to bite him a bit. Now, despite this, Illidan's sitting bot, so he's not really doing anything other than pushing a lane. So it's not like they're trying to get a ton of damage done with this Dragon Knight. They're just slowly gaining an XP advantage and continuing to poke.
You can see the shields coming down on the top of those towers, trying to deny that extra experience. 21 apiece now, going from both sides, and Biceps has soaked up a lot of damage. I think he's just going to continue this rotation of go in, Flame Breath, walk out. He still has 9 seconds left on it, which means we're going to have at least one more Flame Breath ready to go, and then maybe we will have a fight. But again, with the changes to this map, you're seeing longer and longer matches because you can't heal that Dragon Knight anymore.
And ZP starts to engage, but don't forget, his Resurgence is going to be down in this fight, and he's going to need to use Panda Pals pretty soon. Metamorphosis comes in from Zuna up at the top. Great bolt away from Glaurung, but it's not going to be enough. He ends up falling. Zuna comes into the fight down low now, and that's going to be enough to take out ZP, who was down for 60 seconds. Ancestral Healing does hit Nirak, and it's going to keep him alive for quite a long period of time. Uther falls, but he's still in ghost form for a few seconds and can impact this fight. Zuna has to watch out as he might end up dying, actually. No, just barely surviving, and he'll have to back out for now.
Yeah,
or
so
just
close.
lifesteal.
Now, Uther does have the Resurgence. He's back on the board. We didn't actually kill anyone else here from Cloud9. Zuna so low on the hit points, but we talked to time and time again. We got double healers for Cloud9, and Zuna with the first aid with his auto attack healed. He is a tanky guy right now. You can also see the blink play coming in. He is very aggressive with it. It's how he killed Glaurung in that last fight. He nearly takes on the Griffin, and at the same time, keep down, towers down, level advantage secured. And I can't help but wonder, what was ZP's doing with that Resurgence play?
Yeah, no kidding, right? But did you notice there in that play, we actually had a Bright Wing Bolt to polymorph Coffin Luck to allow Zuna to catch up and start that engagement? That was really close to being like a staggeringly good pickup for Cloud9. However, Cloud9 regains the control of this game. They win a big fight. They have complete control of the map now. They're up by 3 forts. Things are looking very good for them.
Yeah, Cloud9, definitely a decisive advantage, but it is, you know, past the experience game. We're now into kind of a slow crawl to 30. There's really no advantages that we're missing out on both sides, and it's now going to come down to timings on Resurgence, for timings on Heroics, timings on these shrines. And speaking of, shrines are now back up. Kenma has actually been hiding top behind a wall, believe it or not, and he's going to go straight for this top shrine.
Glaurung tried to jump in and take out Vala real quick, but unfortunately Vala was sitting right around Uther. That wasn't going to happen. So yeah, Shrine is actually taken up top. Brightwing can actually push until team decides to engage, then just base shift down bot and start taking them out. And it looks like Glorious is going to decide to go for this night camp down bot. That actually is an opportunity for Cloud9 to move in and engage if they can find them there.
Cloud9's thinking of it. Kenma, there we go. That's going to be the phase shift down. And, you know, King Caffeine is going to be leading this charge. They kind of know where Glaurung is with that Shimmer, and they're going to be trying to chase him out. That's going to be the link away. Glaurung is going to wormhole back. Is there actually going to be a fight? It looks like the Shrine is heating up.
Yeah, Syracuse actually pops his Archon. Shock and awe only really hits Zuna, and Zuna turns into Metamorphosis right after that, so he's got plenty of health. He is not worried about this at all. Continually healing up, he takes out Syracuse off to the side. Tassadar is now down and out of this fight. Chen off to the side is actually going to turn into Panda Pals. Yeah, he's backing his way out of there. Vala ends up falling. Very nice job by Glaurung to get on top of that kill there. Zuna takes out Rhaegar down bot. Very nice job. And he's going to make his way back up to the top. In the end, it ended up being a 2-for-1. But as you see, Chen and Falstad all the way down. They have to run all the way back home. And this opens up yet another Dragon Knight for Cloud9.
Yep, not much Glaurung can do about it, especially with an Arthas there to help keep that dunk chain ready to go. So the train has left the station. We got catapults in 2 of these 3 lanes, and the top Knights pushing it up against Glorious in this top. Again, if Glorious lose, they're going to be out 2-0 right here. So despite having a very strong game, they are on the precipice of actually dropping this 2-0. Kenma's going to drop to the continued advances of ZPs, but look at Zuna doing the parkour, and Dunk Train is a very healthy Dragon Knight right now.
But Zuna does get taken out, so now they're going to put all of their attention into King Caffeine. Can they take him out in time before this goes down? No, they cannot. And Cloud9 takes the set 2-0. Cloud9 Maelstrom moving on to face Symbiote Gaming in the finals of Kings of the Storm Week number 5.
Very impressive stuff from Cloud9. And, we have reached our 4-hour limit for this group call.
So we have. All right. That's interesting. Well, that's okay. Let me go ahead and let's see if it brings it back or anything like that. This is actually my last set. I think you were actually doing another set, but I have to take off with this one. So,
as far as I know, we're not doing finals, but
no, I think there's a third place match they wanted you guys to do or something like that. So
I'll go talk to the admins about it. But congratulations, Cloud9 Maelstrom moved to the finals here, Kings of the Storm Weekly number 5, and they have, of course, the Resident Kings waiting for them. Symbiote 2-0'd. Evil Geniuses, putting them in the third.
I gotta say, man, I think this team can give Symbiote a run for their money.
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't think as of 5 they're there yet. But I think just in terms of sheer skill ability, they basically took 3 of the strongest members of Liquid and then stuck Zuna with them. Like that seems really good to me. I don't know. It
does.
You?
No, for sure, 100%. So it'll be interesting to see. I don't know who's doing the finals, who's doing third, but either way, games, we still have last sets here to do. Symbiote up against Maelstrom and Glorious up against Evil Geniuses. Kings of the Storm Weekly number 5 will return, guys, with or without Kevin Naki. And if you're leaving me, okay, c'est la vie. But either way, we'll find out and we'll let you guys know. Be right back.